everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever in the world you are, and to all of our soul family. Thank you for being so flexible with the timing. We're having a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful time here in Germany, in a quaint little town called Garmisch, surrounded by mountains and beauty and nature. Yesterday, we went on a hike in the mountains and really got to really be in nature. Even met a few cows. How cool is that? Also reminded me how nature is just really, really God's healer, and how nature can contribute to us in incredible ways and invites us to kind of leave all of our dramas and our stress and our worries behind, to acknowledge the majesty and the beauty that exists around us all the time. And that's kind of what I wanted to speak about today. Today we have the moon entering into the sign of Cancer later on today. And when the moon enters into the sign of Cancer, it can become an emotional time, oftentimes a sensitive type. And we're also, remember, we have the Libra sun. So the Libra sun and the Cancer moon. Libra is also a sensitive sign, not necessarily emotional per se, but a sensitive sign. And then we also have a very interesting trine that's happening with the planet Chiron. And Chiron is also known as the wounded healer. So just be mindful of your emotions today. And one of the things I wanted to speak about is emotional courage. And what is emotional courage? Emotional courage, what I want to communicate, is the ability that we all have to kind of put aside this attachment that we have to our emotions, right? We attach all of these energies to our emotions, and we make our emotions so incredibly significant that our emotions become the governing body of our existence. Now, what happens when we do that is we fall into and we fall slave to our emotions. And when you fall slave to your emotions, what's happening is you're giving away your true power. Our emotions are here to be our inner guidance system. They're not to be something that we rely on, that we allow to consume us, that we get caught up in. They're simply a guidance system. And so be mindful. Be very mindful of where your emotions are, where your emotions are at today. And wherever your emotions are at today, just kind of look at those emotions from a third party standpoint, right? Step outside of the emotions and ask, what is this emotion teaching me? What is required from me right now in these 10 seconds to face these emotions and not get attached to them? That's what I call emotional courage. Emotional courage is the ability to kind of say, okay, these are the lessons that I need to learn from these emotions. Once you do that, then all of the emotions can also subside. Now, many of us love our emotions. We get really, really attached to our emotions. We think that our emotions define us. And that is actually something that's quite a human experience, that our emotions define us. Our emotions don't define us. Our choices define us. And oftentimes, if we sacrifice our choice for our emotions, then what we've done is found ourselves in positions, could be with anything, could be with other people, and it could also, to be honest with you, where we sacrifice what we really want to choose for the emotions that we feel. And so I want to invite all of us to look at our emotions in a very, very different way today, and to choose to ask, okay, what am I learning from this emotion, or what is it teaching me, or how do I feel, and then do something proactive to change it, an action to change it. Okay, so that's the meditation. That's the awareness for today. We're going to dive into the meditation. Hi, Matt. Welcome. This is the daily download. It's a 15-minute meditation that we do to kind of align us and bring us greater clarity in our lives. It gives us the ability to see clearer some direction that we have for the day by tapping into our subconscious, aligning with what we're really, really asking for in our lives. And what I know to be true is that just dedicating 15 minutes a day to meditation and 15 minutes a day to recalibrating you can change everything for us. Okay, so let's go ahead and begin our meditation. Let's go ahead and close our eyes. As you close your eyes, just quiet your mind and become present here in this state, in this place. Allow your environment to contribute to you. Don't resist anything. Check in with your body. How is your body feeling today? Check in with your thoughts. Meditation is not about quieting the mind, it's about focusing the mind. And so, one of the ways that you can focus is just by simply listening to my voice. So, I want you to imagine that there's a beautiful, bright ball of light in the center of your heart. And this beautiful, bright light in the center of your heart represents unconditional love, connection, the energy of all that is contained within you. And as you focus your energy on that bright white light, I want you to take 3 deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. In through the nose and out through the mouth. In through the nose and out through the mouth. In through the nose and out through the mouth. Now refocus that energy into that beautiful bright light white in the center of your heart. And imagine that bright light becoming bigger and bigger and bigger. And as you do so, I want you to imagine that light expanding out into the room that you're in. And from the room that you're in, into the home, into the building, into the land. Expand your ball of light into the city that you're in or the town. Expand to the state or the province. Expand beyond there to your country, the continent, and the bodies of water that surround your continent. Expand beyond there, out past the oceans that surround your continent, out to different bodies of water, to different continents and lands, until you and your ball of light are one with the entire planet. See your ball of light and the planet lit up as this beautiful ball of light, and expand your ball of light beyond there, out into outer space, through outer space, out past the universe, different layers of light, some dark, through those layers out into a beautiful golden-like light. And through the golden-like light into a jelly-like substance light. And through the jelly-like substance light into a beautiful pink haze, which is the law of compassion. And through the law of compassion, you enter into the 7th plane of all that is. The plane of creation, of oneness, and of complete totality. Immediately, your ball of light dissolves into this beautiful energy, and you feel the connection, the contribution, the collaboration of all things, all atoms and molecules of existence here. From here, you are in a theta brainwave. This is a theta healing meditation. From here, we're going to ask for some downloads. Downloads are just energies we receive into our subconscious, thoughts, feelings, emotions, and experiences. I'm going to be tapping into the quantum field and seeing what downloads are required for us today. So let's see what we got. So would you like to know what it feels like to acknowledge your emotions? To acknowledge your emotions without getting attached to your emotions? If you'd like that, say yes. For many of us, we store our emotions in our body, oftentimes in our stomach or gut. can even be our heart or our liver. And so acknowledge where in your body you hold your emotions. And I want you to just kind of send your consciousness to that part of your body. Just by asking the question, your body will show you. For example, I definitely hold a lot of emotion in my gut area. And so as you focus awareness there, just tell your body that it's safe for you to release those emotions, that it's worthy of releasing those emotions, that it's safe to release those emotions. If you'd like that, say yes. We'd like to know what it feels like, looks like, tastes like, smells like, sounds like, and is, that you know how to communicate with your body and how to communicate with your emotions as that navigation system. Would you like to know what it feels like to ask your emotions, to talk to your emotions and say, hey, what are you teaching me? What would you like me to be aware of? Would you like to know what it feels like to listen, to have faith and trust in the direction that your emotions, your inner emotional intelligence is sending you? If you'd like that, say yes. Would you like to know what it feels like to release yourself from the attachment to holding on to your emotions? Oftentimes we use our emotions, lock our emotions in our body as lessons learned, right? And so would you like to acknowledge the lessons that you've learned, acknowledge the lessons that your emotions taught you, but without having to attach the heavy, deep, negative emotion to it? If you'd like that, say yes. And would you like to know what it feels like, looks like, tastes like, smells like, sounds like, and is to let go of any of the wounds or the scars that you have bared because of heavy emotion? And as you do so, let's fill those spaces and those wounds with unconditional love and unconditional light, healing those aspects and areas of your life. Would you like to know what it feels like to acknowledge that for every negative emotion, there is an equal and opposite positive emotion? So take, for example, anxiety. Did you know that the physical expression of anxiety, what happens to your body when you're anxious, is the exact thing that happens when you're excited? Exactly, 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 exactly. This is scientifically proven. And so oftentimes we misalign excitement with anxiety, right? And so would you like to know what it feels like to be able to tap into the higher perspective of the emotions you're having? Right? Take, for example, when you go on a trip or you get on an airplane, and a lot of people have airplane anxiety, right? And immediately they say, oh my gosh, I must be afraid of flying, or I must be afraid of, this, or, all of those things. When, what if you said, well, I'm just excited about where I'm going, and I'm excited about the adventure ahead, and I may not know what lies in the adventure ahead, and that's what's making me excited. And to transform anxiety. Anxiety is a big plague that many are facing, myself included. I deal with a lot of anxiety myself, and it's crippling. And so would you like to know what it feels like, and that you know how to live without anxiety, right? Anxiety is also the energy with which you are simply too focused on the future, or you're too fixated on the past. And so that right there teaches us the antidote for anxiety. The antidote for anxiety lies here in the present, being present and knowing that in this moment, you have everything you need. Everything. There is nothing that is wrong in this moment. Even forbid you have some debilitating diagnosis and you say, no, I have this or I have that. But how are you feeling? right? Allow yourself to be present with the momentness that you feel. Even if you do feel sick today or you feel, you know, run down or anything, acknowledge that that's your communicating to you to say, hey, you know what? It's okay to relax. We need to relax and we need to rest today. To give yourself permission to do so. So, would you like to know what it feels like and that you know how to do all of that? That you're worthy of doing all of that and that it's safe for you to do all of that. Beautiful. Would you like to know what it feels like, looks like, tastes like, smells like, sounds like, and is in every single cell of your body to have the courage to handle your emotions? Because oftentimes, too, one of the things that we do is we bury our emotions and they fester inside of us. And if we actually had the courage to deal with them, say, what is this? Sometimes you might find that it's something as silly as like a parking ticket, right? That you haven't dealt with. So silly. But when you address it, you're like, yeah, okay, I need to take care of that. Would you like to know what it feels like to translate and to transmute what is hiding into what is seen? If you'd like that, say yes. Something else very important to know about emotions. Your body is like a magnet. It's like a psychic magnet. And oftentimes you can perceive and feel emotions from others, other people around you, even the objects, the chair that you're sitting on or the desk that you're sitting at. There was another person that sat there before you, most likely. And so oftentimes if you all of a sudden find yourself sitting in a chair and you're deeply uncomfortable and there doesn't seem to be a reason why, it could be that the person that sat there before you was angry or upset or sad. And so just ask your body, hey, what does this belong to? Return that energy to the universe, send it to the cosmos. Would you like to know how to do that? How to navigate your empathic sense, your empathic energy, transmute and translate your empathic energy to something that can be a contribution for you and the world and others. Like that, say yes. Great. So now let's shift our energy to focus on somebody who we'd like to send healing to. Now, that can be for any amount of reasons. It can be a physical ailment, but it can also be some kind of disconnect in their lives. Perhaps, you know, somebody who's hurting, um, somebody who's disappointed, or somebody who's maybe struggling with money or something. Just hold space for them today. Bring them into your healing space and acknowledge them standing in front of you. And as you look at their face, you see their worry or their stress or their anxiety. Just reach out your hands. Take their hands. And now imagine the Creator's unconditional love and the Creator's unconditional light gathering and pouring through their body. Imagine that beautiful pearlescent energy filling up every single cell of their body. The Creator's unconditional love and the Creator's unconditional light. And watch their reality change. Remember, you are not the healer. The Creator is the healer. The universe is the healer. You're just the witness. So in this space, all you have to do is witness them happy, healthy, safe, protected, with sustenance and abundance and prosperity. Great. And last but not least, would you like to know that you are unconditional love and that you be unconditional love? And the unconditional love is your birthright. If you'd like that, say yes. And now let's take our palms and rub our palms together. Faster and faster and faster and faster and faster. Place your palm over your eyes. Your eyes are the windows to your soul. When you're ready, you can open up your eyes and allow that energy to come into your body and into your being. And place your hands on your heart. Congratulate yourself and thank yourself for being here, for being a part of our soul family. Thank you guys so much. Have a beautiful day. a miraculous day. We'll see you same time tomorrow. Bye, everyone.